Hello there, welcome back. It is I, Wizlix, and here we are to play the Grace Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time that we were playing, we discovered that maybe it was an accident what happened to Kazuma. But was it? That is what we have to find here. Will there be a trial after this? Who knows? Evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. Death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let's show hand, Mr. Naruto, and present the evidence. Evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. The truth is clearly recorded in these photographic prints. There's no way that Mr. Sogi will have left this message on the floor. That script is it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. It's kinda obvious. The word written means war rob. Someone needed to be here to write this message. I see what you mean. Most people will leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. Maybe was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He couldn't have picked it up very fast. Doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. If you fall and you die from this fall, you die instantly. You don't have the time to write anything. There's no way that Mr. Sogi will have left this message on the floor. The reason why is clearly explained here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death? Nobody could write something. Which means after the victims fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead, simply. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Sogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. So the Sen has noticed it too. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's nothing else that gives the truth away. A piece of evidence that proves this was no accident, in other words. Could it be? Yes, I guess. What point are you trying to make with that evidence? Uh-oh. I think that you are starting to see nothing of the sort. That was the evidence to prove it. What should be looking for is one of the two things. Either the absence of something you would expect to find the scene of an accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't. I see. Something that you find or you shouldn't find. More than Charles. Starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right here in Kazuma's cabin. Undeniable. Not that. This one? This one or this one, or I don't know. Help? This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. There's a glass bell the kitten had around its neck where he knew all about it. Was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. Unfortunately, there's a very big flow, a foul flow. If that's really what happened, and how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Sugi died last night in his cabin, was someone else in the room. That same person deliberately arranged the scene, disguised the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Is it really you, then? I'm lost. There was someone else present in Mr. Sugi's. Someone else was there. Of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Okay, it was ball shot from inside. There's no way, no. There was no way in or out. And only other person in the cabin when Youngstown died was you. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. We shut inside the cabin wardrobe to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian, there's no way I could have left that message. No would have. There's no way you could have left that message to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Well, give me my dear Philo. Okay, as I was saying, the person in question wrote the wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for a crime, whether I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor. The fear of it becoming evidence that will show how Mr. Sugiri died. But why would this person have taken all the pieces of the bell anyway? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. Single small lamp suspended from the ceiling, barely have cast any lights onto the floor there. Little wonder then, the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Seaman Stroganoff. Ina is a woman of sea. She's daughter of a strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skill as she went away to join ballet company. Before, he was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. Do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. But that's it. You say that when Youngstown died, Nia was there in the cabin. That is not possible, I give my tooth. Well, this is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You're a great detective, you should know. Look truth in eyes, cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. The word could go into cabin, not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Impossible. I've read about this in detective stories. You often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from outside. Fred, you're stupid. These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight, the threads and needles or magnets could have been used. Mr. Norrell suggested it earlier, so... Really? The Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. In this very cabin, you can see the traces of the methods I have in mind being used before. Well, Mr. Naruto, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Well, you were with me again. You really know what Mr. Sholmes means. Oh, yeah, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have, so would you care to do the honors? Point out. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things have toppled over? It must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. That's right, it's a rebuffled vessel after all. The engines are thrown into reverse, the violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia, acting on the objects. There's nothing Sadison doesn't know, or that isn't in her book at least. But whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The lock, the bolts on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before. We hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. It sounds like... Inspector Sonaga. Yes, at the same time. At this precise time. That's it when the ship stopped suddenly. The bolt flew across and locked the door. It's made of metal. It's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. I'm trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed. This is Berea made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning, I looked around the cabin and I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the elements was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked over everything. I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? And when we came into this cabin, I was surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Sugi's cabin. You have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Berea made an emergency stop. A similar far-fetched. How could that possibly ever have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Or it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Of course. It wasn't noticed, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is intense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. It was you. When the button is pressed, two things happen. In the interest of safety, The emergency alarm bell rings. The vessel comes to completely stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Shams, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a baron has but one purpose in life. To be pressed. Whatever the occasion, he sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with this ship? I report you to captain. You're in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let's not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson when the vessel makes an emergency stop. The bolts on the cabin door slides closed. But what we must now consider all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Sogi, did this ship make an emergency stop or did it not? There's a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop even in the middle of night, there'll be chaos everywhere. What do you thought, Mr. Naruto? Well, it's certainly possible. Some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. What evidence? Fascinating. Do show us. We do? Do we? That maybe? Timon Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? The ship's log here. This will be here you record the details of your duties. Or doing with that is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau, the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into care, with mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. This is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from... oh... just felt about something, nothing was recorded at all. That's why you have those markings on your face. It's because of the snake. Nothing recorded in the log. That is... yeah, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 AM, something happened. Here aboard the SS Berea. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? If I'm perfectly honest, I found that a little hard to believe myself. But because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us will have noticed. That's really true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody will sleep through that. But if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? What do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. I've all suffered with it. Sleeping pills. I've had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? As I suspected. My head's been throbbing today too. And since eating diner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I don't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. and the first thing I noticed this morning was throwing pain in my head. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why did I wake up when all that has happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruto, you bought this vessel as a stowaway, don't you? Yeah, sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What do you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me, was always happy to share his meals. Do you enjoy some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening at Tickets? Yes, in fact, at all of that, Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? The victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all. That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? You mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? Well, obviously. I do. Really? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of soporific, designed to induce a very deep slumber into those who consumed it. A sleeping drug. You mean, whoever did this laced every meal with sleeping drugs so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Of course, that's not what Mr. Sholmes means, but a far-fetched idea. Yes, precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug will certainly be impossible. Unless that is, every single member of a crew was a conspirator. Well, Seaman? Sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. Yes, sir, there were more people. You refuse to talk. There will have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself will be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I will tell you everything. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We agreed to help everyone talk together. Threw away everything. The fame in the ballot, Mother Russia. We wanted to help her, yes. I don't believe it. You're right, we put sleeping drug in chicken last night. I remember now, I did notice chewing on the lamp of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve? Look about heavy seasoning. At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought Angel on board. That's why there was an emergency stop. We were held by a comrade on shore with small fishing boats, while all the passengers of the SS Berea slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing portion the evening meals had contained. If that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew people who disliked chicken and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. That means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door will have ended up locked in that case. It will have been complete chaos. Wouldn't say so. Just like us, all other passengers will have eaten the evening meal of chicken in the cabins, in which they will have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite accordingly, all passengers were already in the cabin for the night. The overwhelming majority of passengers will eventually sleep with the cabin doors bolted anyway, so not one of them will have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the captain brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. But why? It's always the question, why? They have talked a long time and said many things. What is the point? The point is what I said earlier. It was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragment of glass that will reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told a busy night. I don't know about any of this, I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I'm a sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. What could have been the motive? Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. Laudable trait. I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruto. Yes, you hear it, the accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. You've lost me. Without involvement, man, you can't hear such a call with your ears. You must hear it with your eyes. Observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come. One final logic and reasoning spectacular. Expose the truth. And Mr. Naruto, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Shums? Observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, with these two private... Sorry. Observation. You remember, Mr. Naruto? You know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? At the bring with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death, we're looking at some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely, you're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. That's what I can see. Looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Is it that? I think that's it. It's missing. There's such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells. What's that? There's something attached to her here. I bet that's what's called an earring. A little piece of jewelry. An earring, isn't it? Earring is tiny. As part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. Now all that's left is a collapsed part that attaches to the ear. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. I noticed the dainty jewelry you're wearing on your ears, Miss Pavlova. Were we to find the piece of those earrings, it must be Asogi's cabin. will prove beyond doubt that we're there. Although we haven't actually found anything yet, so... Expect... yeah. Before that, maybe we'll look for this? After? Maybe? Sorry. Exactly how we're supposed to show that someone else was there when Kazuma died. Something that the person took away from the scene, that be that accidentally or deliberately. On it. Seems strong enough. You seem to have quite a large bubble stain on the back of your white uniform there. Oh yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. Nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It will appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Or to make it plain. It's a very large bubble stain on the back of Seaman's strong enough uniforms. I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is, so Mr. Naruto. Present the evidence that proves it. Alright then, the evidence that proves it, yeah. Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops. At last, now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. The stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dried, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way, which means it must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes, it was me. I did it, everything. Arrange everything in Dad Stern's cabin to make it look like one Rob Man did it. Then I press button to make Buria do emergency stop. The ball cabin door shut. Did everything so no one will suspect our Angel. But why? Please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. No Angel came to me. It was white like sheet. Miss, help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. I looked inside. I saw a student boy on the floor. What happened here? Please don't tell anyone. Little one, my little furry friend. It was still an accident in the end, but they just hid things. Everything that happened in the cabin is like Angel told you. You can escape through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. And they made people eat the sleeping drugs so that they can stop without anyone noticing. That they can get her, simply. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Valvula then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find it open lying lifeless on the floor. She was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. Angel? The door was not locked. She opened to look and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing. You wouldn't mind. When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? I already told you. When you opened the door of Slin's cabin and looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Yes. That is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? We discovered the real truth about Kazumi's death at last. Something really nearly slipped my mind. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. The unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, occurred on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph. It seems to be somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? What do you fall in the matter, Mr. Naruto? Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck, broke his neck. Which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? His finger? Maybe? This one in Russia clearly wasn't written by Kazuma. If you're looking for something natural, that's the obvious point. Very true. It is certainly particular, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. The really crass detail was orchestrated by the culprits. I mean to identify another point. I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. My opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, will be most unnatural. Sure, you'll reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance. Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? A clenched fist. He really fell due to an unfortunate accident, and this fist just doesn't seem quite right. Usually you fly on your hand. The exact same fall occurred to me. The fall one's instinct is to open the palms flat. True. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Show us, please. Of course, my dear madam, will I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. Crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? I'm not so sure that crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruto. That is the key. Move is now tantalizingly close. All the crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist. It's the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? Why is it always the little girls who did it? It's weird. Well, this time for real. Miss Pavlova, I noticed that you're new here. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The link holding it almost. The little link holding it almost have broken, I suppose. Looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon. I don't believe it. Now the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly there's only one logical conclusion. Would you agree, Mr. Naruto? Miss Pavlova, Sasuke must have grasped that crescent moon, pulled it from your ear, perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Sasuke's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, we can literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sasuke do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? It was her. Okay, I'm lost. Accent, her. Accent, her. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin, I could relax after this horrible long day. Daka, wait. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the vents. Later, I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Aga will not come back. What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. Guess he recognized her, and that's why the human from your country was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Daka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin. Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh yes. I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Oh, of course. Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. What are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. You've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull the cord. He's going to tell the captain. But I think I could trust him. It happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Like I jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. As he turned around to look at me, I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. It was you in the end. That's when you went to fetch help from senior man Stroganoff. Was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor. I ran to her. I was standing at the cabin door, thinking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. You find out I will be. Please, I know where to go." So you decided to help. That's when you arrange things in Kazumi's cabin to make it look like I did it. Then no one will suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes, I went into the cabin and look around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway, Rob. They were sleeping. That's when he found me. He walked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed Rob doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Citizen started to believe me when I said I was innocent. Drag your man's body to good place and use ink that was spilled to write on floor. I wrote so that person who found him would look inside Rob and find Stowaway. And tell me what the glass bell was by my feet, so I picked it up. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. And Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Accordingly, the Berea did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. As enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked door mystery. Could I just be a bit more patient? Still, one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. Because, well, obviously, just wanted to ask, well, or, at least the main character's help. Or at least, what he was thinking. Let's say that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. It's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. Even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship. Are you friends with every member of the crew? Or would that have been a problem? Was what he said first. It made me scared. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. Said Inspector. Was his friend. Yes, meaning me. Was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they will arrest me. Well, now they will. Before he could pull the bell cord, I stop you at the moment, Miss Pavlova. Just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sogiri going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Well, obviously, no. I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But he was a man of his word. He told you he wouldn't give your secret away. He would have done. And he was walking over to it. No, to the ward Rob. Was going to pull the cord. Was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruto, this work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. Yes, what action was the victim Ryu about to take at that moment? And with the mind, we Whither? The young man's gaze was directed. Let's consider the victim's location within his cabin. It's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes. I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. The cabin has to be my home for this entire voyage. I feel bad now. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama. Exactly how it was. Already then. Yes. There's one thing I've learned today. That a simple gaze can reveal all matters of truths. And not only that in order to draw the right conclusion. You can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze of the weird lens. And when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Besides, considering everything that had happened last night, Elaine may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. However, what is directly beside the bell cord? Well, the wardrobe. Wardrobe, yes. And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What when Mr. Sogi's exact word last night? Give me a moment, I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yeah. Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Sogi hasn't intended to consult his close friend on the matter. See if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. I wish he had made sure of what Mr. Sogi was looking at. This may have ended very differently, Ed. When it's so dumb and sad. Or both. I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. Unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry, really, I'm so sorry. Have I done? And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding this tragic accident in the SS Berea was finally laid to rest. At 7 PM this time. What will happen to Miss Pavlova then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Will the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that. So she won't be going back to Russia then. No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she will be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seems strong enough? I want to help our angel, no matter what. But I don't think about you, but how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. It's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. His death feels like such a waste. But, well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Yeah. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. It is still away, after all. I can't really expect any difference. So you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. I think that only days ago, Izuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. It seems like a distant memory now. It's really not kind to have done that, really. Is it someone weeping? Is that a sound? Rhoda, I didn't know you had returned. Well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Sonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. Can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. He had such grand ideas for his visits to Great Britain, so many dreams. Now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. Therefore I could never forgive the person responsible. Now we know the truth. It was just an accident. Well, still, a murder. A silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto. It's just too much. Me too. Actually, me too. Yeah. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asugi safely to Great Britain, but I failed and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down, and I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. I'm afraid Huh? Surprise, Mr. Naruto? What is the meaning of this? Oh, trifling matter. Simply that in my head I think I shall always picture you wearing the shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. So I decided to restore them for all time's sake, shall we say. You're still away after all. Thinks this is funny. Mr. Sholmes. Thank you, I guess. I do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And for it's a little late, I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is really heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that has happened. Wait a minute. Just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. Terms of the study tour was negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. Was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Sugi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer be go ahead. Don't care for me. But what about Susato? My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know? All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. There's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? The qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value. In Great Britain, I'm afraid. But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourself another suitable lawyer. Mr. Sato? You think perhaps I might be able to do it? You're not a lawyer. Or unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... Oh, he's not even studying law. I'm sorry, in that case, I don't think there's even a chance you could walk. But as I say, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? The month in which to study, to know what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. It's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I'll walk my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day, will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I've learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. Why put yourself in such a difficult position? Okizuma, simply, said that it was something he had to do in Great Britain, that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. Have to. What do you say, Mr. Sato? She can smile. I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. What does a spectacle Inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. It's fascinating, will you agree? Fascinating? The end rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speaking of yourself, besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters in his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to warn my report to the Department of Justice. After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. Let's discuss what to do next and how best to make my reports. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, you will consider teaching me what I need to know, everything about being a lawyer. I will be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all. Thank you. And Mr. Naruto, I'd like you to take charge of this. Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. His name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asugi clan for generations. I need to look at something quickly. Will we do this again? Like that. Okay, we can't say it well here. Very well, I said I'll treasure it always. You can probably do it here. The name is Susato. Yeah. It seems we'll be walking together for some time to come yet. I was watching to, the cover of this game. We can clearly see Kazuma. Will be another Mr. Naruto. And for the next 40 days, I shall grant you a single minute of freedom. You shall fill every spare moment with study. Is this exactly what I need? Before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. What is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. Yes! Huh? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. You were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever circumstances, I should never have thrown you. Not just once, but 5 times. 5? The number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. Isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training? Mr. Sholmes, I observed you throwing techniques several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that will be a form of Japanese wrestling. Aikido. Well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Call this Susato takedown. Leaves you head swimming, believe me. Beginning? The practitioner of the combative arts myself, I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. What if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique, the arresting throw? Yes, I'll be honored. And let us not dally, demonstrate, my dear madam. Of course. No, not me, please. Are you ready, Mr. Naruto? 6. As you can see, you throw the abdomen, from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed. It is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually no, it was a Susato squash. It's still a bit sweet after all this bitter story. My groggy state of consciousness. The scene from the evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. A rumor? That's right. The bright sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asugi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking katana and sturdy tool is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Rinosuke. Can't be parted from my katana, from against me. I truly believe that. This name compels its creator to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important they have to do in Great Britain. I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course, I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. An important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. I'm going to see the place for myself and walk it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Well, I think that is the end, indeed. As always, thank you for watching. It was a bit longer, but well, it was the last episode for this chapter. Well, it was the last episode for this episode. Anyway, I hope you liked it. In any case, we'll see each other in something like 3 days. As always, have a good day, a good night, and take care. And see you later. Bye. You're really sad about this. I really liked Kazuma. To see him disappear like that already was so cool. I liked everything about his character, his style, and dying dumbly like that. Oh no. I guess I need to take a break, yeah. Breathe a bit. It should be alright. Ciao.